Ladies and gentlemen, I think it's time to start. My name is Alexander. As you already know, I'm here as a sergeant at arms, and I'm very delighted to open another St. Petersburg Toastmasters meeting. A couple of rules as usual. The first one is that we all keep ourselves muted, and as all I can say, everybody is not, well, a bunch of people are not muted, right? Right, Walter? Right, Michael? So the first
Right.
rule is if you do not speak, please make sure your microphone is muted. As well as before speaking, make sure you have unmuted yourself previously. Another rule is that our meeting are being recorded. The videos are available on YouTube. Share, like, subscribe, do anything you want, but make sure you remember that during the meeting. With that being said, I'd like to pass a word to the president of our club, Walter Schwarz.
Thank you very much, Alexander. Thank you very much, dear guests. On behalf of our St. Petersburg Toastmasters International Club, I am happily and warmly welcoming you to our 131st Toastmasters meeting. That being said, 131st on the 13th of February. For those who are suspicious in figures, maybe there's a magic something behind it. Before we kick off our glorious meeting, I would happily pay the attention to what Ellen just said, that we welcome Ellen as our official member for the St. Petersburg Toastmaster member as our third in a row almost, and I would like to give it a round of applause and welcome Ellen.
Hey, welcome.
Welcome Ellen as a valid member in our group. Besides that, I also say that 3 of our new members are all with us today. Say Marina, a warm welcome as well, and Valeria, who's going to be our icebreaking session for us as well. So that's very, very good. Apart from that, I do not want to bother you and want to wish you a very good meeting, handing over to the Toastmaster of the day, our very much like Alexander Kim.
Thank you, Walter. Thank you, Mr. President. Live from St. Petersburg, once again, very glad to see all of you joining our speaking pack adventure of our club. Well, since we are joined only by seasoned toasties today, I'm gonna keep it short. There's no reason to go into details. The plan is pretty much simple. We've got 3 prepared speeches today. We've got a table topic section, which we missed last time. And we've got the evaluation part at the end of our meeting. With that being said, let's move on to the theme of our meeting. Now, given that today is the 13th of February, we decided that the theme of our meeting is love in the air. Well, the reason is something crazy happens every 14th of February. Well, maybe December as well, who knows? Everything turns red. As you can see, Michael is using different outfit today. Alan is also using a red color, which is different from what I've noticed. What else happens? People start listening to sweet, romantic Ed Sheeran songs all the time. Lots of men, they start feeling pain in their legs, so they have to stand on one knee instead of standing like a normal human being. So a lot of crazy things happen, and we'll see what it has to do with our guest today, as we will go deeper into that part of our meeting and during the table topic section. But before that, I'd like to introduce Randal as our general evaluator. Randal, could you please describe what your role is today and introduce your team?
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Alexander. It's my pleasure to introduce my role. So as the general evaluator today, I will be paying close attention to all of the aspects of our meeting that sort of wrap it from the beginning to the end. And I will be introducing the people who have specific roles to play to help our meeting run efficiently. First among them, I would like to introduce our grammarian, who is also the president of our club, our very own favorite Berliner, Walter Schwarz. Walter, can you please introduce the role of the grammarian and the word of the day?
Thank you very much, dear Randal. Ich bin kein Berliner. I am not a Berliner, but nevertheless, my role as a grammarian, I'm not sure we have guests today, make it short and crisp, is to look out for particular variations of English usage or English language, which I recognize as being having potential for speaking better, or some particular nice words which have been used, and write it down and have small comments at the end of the day that how we speak is also try to be correct how we speak it. Besides that, I'm going to introduce to you the word of today. And the word of today, trying to make language speaking or the language usage less monotone with words like good, like, as such, trying to introduce some more flavored words. And the word of today shall be marvelous. Marvelous is a different word for saying how something is good, bad, or nice, or fantastic, or extraordinary. This is a good way of not using good all the time. We try to speak good. Okay? You can use it as an adjective in whatever reason you find helpful to say. Give something an extra tip of the iceberg or the cherry of a dessert. And that's why you can use the word marvelous. Thank you very much. Back to the general evaluator.
Thank you very much. What a marvelous word of the day we have today. And if you are joining us for the first time, you please note that we clap our hands or wave our hands whenever anyone uses the word marvelous today, which we will thank you for doing that. Another aspect of our roles that are watching what we're doing is the awe counter. And the awe counter, of course, is going to check that I just had 3 awes in a row. Today, we are very, very lucky because we have a guest Toastmaster from Japan, Rieko, who is a member of 3 Toastmasters clubs in Japan. And this is her first visit to a Russian club. There'll be at an English-speaking club, and she's going to be our awe counter of the day. Rieko, can you please tell us what you're going to do? And please unmute yourself.
Okay, thank you very much. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. I'll be our accountant today, and I'll be checking your filler words and unnecessary words, like such as well, so, like, but, and I will report the results at the end of the session, I think. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Rieko. Another member of our team, as Walter said, one of our newest members of our club, Marina, is going to be our quiz master of the day. And this is a role that not all clubs have, but we have. We love it. Marina, can you please tell us what you're going to do?
Sure. Good evening, everyone. My role today is to test your skills of listening, and I'll be asking you a few questions, I think, on the second part of this meeting. And please be careful and stay focused and listen to our wonderful speech makers and just throughout the whole meeting.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you very much, Marina. And next, the man who has his heart in the palm of his hand and the top of his head, Rami Saeed, is going to be our timer today. So we don't always just give ourselves a slap on the back and tell ourselves that we're doing well. We keep very close track of time. And Rami is going to tell us how that works. Please unmute yourself, Rami.
Yes. Hello, everyone. Please lock my screen so that you can see me in your presentations. I'll make sure that I'll be always smiling. So my role is to help you get in time. So everyone has rules. There is the minimum time, there is the perfect time, and then there is the maximum. So when you get to the minimum qualified time of your speech, I will give you this green screen. And then when you get to the middle part of your time, I will give you this screen, which means that you need to start wrapping things up and getting ready to close. And when you're At the max, I give you this red screen, which means stop, and we gotta close as fast as possible. And yeah, and in the table topics, everyone will have 1 minute to speak for the green screen, 1.5 minutes for the yellow, and 2 minutes for the red. That's pretty much it. I wish you all to have a marvelous speech. Back to you, Randal.
Thank you very much, Taima Rami. We have one final role, which is going to be filled by our dear president, who is not a Berliner, but lived in Berlin. So that's why I mentioned that. Walter, can you please explain what the ballot counter does? How does this all work? Why do we have a ballot counter? What's it all about?
Yes, dear General Evaluator Randal, the ballot counter is responsible for making sure that the counts or ballots between the speeches will be able to be voted and calculated, as well as for the Toastmaster table topic session, which we will come to the second part. Everyone will have a certain time frame, and at the end of the day, we will vote for the best table topic speech. And to make this possible, we will provide a link. I think Alexander is going to be doing this in the chat. Make sure you have your chat open so that you will be able to count and make your vote for the best speaker, the best evaluator, and the best table topic speech. Thank you very much. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Okay, thank you very much, Walter. We have two more people who are going to have an evaluation role today. For our first speaker today, we're going to have Mr. Michael Vader as the evaluator of her Icebreaker speech. And for the second speech, we are going to have Alan Akamba is going to evaluate Alexander Chernov's speech. And we can ask both of them to introduce themselves later in this speech when the time comes. So this is my evaluation team. We will be all working very diligently and hard and give a report at the end of the meeting. Over to you, please, Mr. Toastmaster Alexander.
Thank you, Randal. Now moving on to the main course of our meeting, let's all welcome one of the newest members, Valeria. She will be delivering her icebreaker today. Since she is quite new and we haven't still met in life, we don't quite know her very well. So I find out some facts about her. So her favorite color is turquoise, which is very difficult to pronounce. I wish she picked something easy as red or black. She doesn't believe in horoscopes, though she says she is Aquarius. And her biggest fear are spiders and public speaking. With a speech called The Curse of an Introvert, please welcome Valeria.
I'm sorry, I have to open the door. Sorry.
What a coincidence. All right, we either can wait 10 seconds or, well, looks like.
I think, yeah.
Yeah, we'll have it another time. Maybe we switch with the second speaker?
Sure thing, Valeria.
I'm sorry, the career should be later, but
it's fine. Okay, that was a quick one. Next speaker of the day needs no introduction. This is Alexander Chernov, our Scandinavian 7th expert and master. His speech title is A Harsh Opinion about Leadership. Harsh Opinion about Leadership, Alexander Chernov.
Yeah, so, thank you. Well, yeah, let's begin with that. I am no leader myself. I was always the guy who is on the outside, just doing the job done, getting the job done. So upon these qualities that I have, that's I do the things and I do them quickly and I do them nicely and I always complete them. Somehow I was made a leader several times in the university. So how you might guess, I not knowing anything about leadership, I did it naturally through my own volition and how I saw leadership in history. Because in history, the leadership is actually not these niceties that we have right now, the goody two shoes. Let me just read you all the qualities that I found that a leader should have. Sorry about this, but it's been a long thing. So, number 1, effective communication. 2, proactivity. 3, ability to motivate. 4, organization. 5, confidence. 6, he should be analytical. 7, decision making. 8, creativity. 9, delegation. 10, flexibility. 11, honesty. 12, negotiation. 13, positivity. 14, industry expertise. 15, trustworthiness. 16, time management. 17, problem solving. And 18, feedback. So, as you might guess, no great leaders in history had at least any of these qualities at the same time. I'd say 5 or 6 at max. So what do they have to rely on? On being harsh, on being authoritative, on being, I'd say, violent, and having power and not being afraid to use it, to put people in line, to make the things done. You think the Genghis Khan or Alexander the Great, the Napoleon, or our famous Austrian painter, all the goody people who never did anything wrong, who always were nice about people. No, history is done by leaders who are not afraid to be harsh, because this modern notion of failed leaders who are too good for themselves, who cannot make people do things, they're hostages of their own workers. So what I did, not knowing anything about leadership, but knowing about history, and right now this style is called transactional. I had my own team. I made, and I said to them that, yes, we have these things to do, and I will make you do them. But in exchange, I will find a way to repay you. So I'll ask the teachers to be better in these things, to give you another chance in other things. And at the same time, at work, I said that, yeah, you might help me, and I will negotiate some kind of a raise to you, some kind of payout. Because being good is not being efficient. For example, let's remember, do you recall the book by Machiavelli called The Prince? It's an exaggeration of the truth of real qualities of a leader. It's an exaggeration because it was written in 16th century Florence, Italy, at the time of Renaissance, when people would stab themselves in the back, each other. It was a book about how not to die in the political atmosphere, because right now the leadership is all about politics. And right now, the leaders who are not harsh can be easily fired because they're afraid to use their power. And that is the biggest problem. I know I said it like 4 or 5 times. I myself am transactional leader, authoritative to some extent, but it gets the job done because we can see that people in ruling positions, the inability, to do anything. Give me a sec. It was asked, what is it better, to be loved or to be feared? And it's better to be both, yes, but it's almost unreachable. So it's better to be feared, like Machiavelli said. But Machiavelli himself was a manipulator, a liar. Get a man who raised a new type of leaders. And even right now, upon learning about leadership styles, I found that an ability to distract reality is an important thing, as several professors of leadership say. Give me a sec. So let me wrap things up, because I wrote, I think, too much, and we don't have too much time for it. So let me wrap up. I am through my own volition, authoritative leader, transactional leader. And transactional leadership is all about giving things people in exchange for good work. So I will not be able to stay with the same people for a long time, because transactional leadership is when people dislike you. Yeah, I can accept this. You can dislike me, but let me get my job done. Let me get the results. Let me be good at what I do. If you ask me to do things, I will get them done. But you will dislike me. Yeah, I know, harsh, but true. And at the same time, I want to say this, and I will repeat it once again. As leaders, you should be trained in subterfuge, in being manipulative, in not being afraid to use your power, as to not become, how we say in Russia, тряпка, a rag, to clean your feet on. So please, as a leader, do not be a fan of this notion that leader is a goody two shoes who knows everything, who for some unknown reason everyone should respect. No, you will not be respected. You can build a trust. It will take several years or months, or use your resources. Use what people gave you, and you will reach the things that you should reach. Do not be afraid to alienate people. Sorry if it sounds harsh, but that's how I see leadership. Sorry about timing. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chernov. You mentioned one thing, and which was whether leaders should be feared or loved. And there was one genius response that I've remembered. You know, I want people to be afraid of how much they love me. Genius answer to this dilemma of yours.
Yeah, and Aristotle said that people cannot love someone they fear, but Aristotle himself didn't believe in democracy, even though he's one of the fathers of the democracy. So kind of like this. Yeah, it's controversial topic. Sorry, I brought it up, but
it's
I'm
fine.
not sorry.
It's fine. Alexander Chernov's speeches is what I want my YouTube tutorials to be like, you know, frank, concise, straight to the point, no bullshit, and so that's good. Oh my God, I said something bad, and Mr. Randal will punish me later on. Okay, Valeria, I guess you're here with us.
Yes.
Yes, so once again, let's all welcome Valeria Gagarina with her speech, The Curse of an Introvert.
So as Alexander Kim mentioned, I have two fears, spiders and public speaking. So today I'm facing one of them. Guess which one? Thank you again for very warm welcome, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and guests. And let the story begin. Once upon a time, there lived a little girl named Valeria. She was a happy child because she believed she could be anything she wanted. In her dreams, she was an actress, a dancer, a singer, a doctor, an architect, a pilot, a pirate, an engineer like her father, and a cleaning lady like her grandma. When she had turned 5 years old, her parents threw a birthday party for her, where all their relatives and friends gathered together. When everyone was about to seat themselves at the table, an old neighbor showed up. She only came for 1 minute to ask for some salt, she said. I overheard her talking to my mom. You have a beautiful daughter, she said, and she's a smart child too. However, she will have a hard life because she is an introvert. At that moment, my mom spilled salt, and that's bad luck, as everyone knows. At that time, I didn't know what it meant to be an introvert, but I had no doubt I was cursed. The time passed on, I was growing up, and I learned that being an introvert is not a curse or a blessing, that being an introvert, I still can be anything I wanted. And I was. I was an actress in the school theater, playing such marvelous roles as an apple tree, a Christmas tree, a magic stove, and the main villain of all Russian fairy tales, Koshchei Besmertny, called Immortal in Russian. Then I also was working as German teacher for a while after I graduated from the university. I was even a pirate when I was working as a photographer for Royal Caribbean International Cruise Lines. 7 years ago, I started my career as a quality assurance engineer in an international company. And a while ago, I decided to change my path for a leading position. But then I asked myself, can I become a marvelous leader being an introvert? And after that, I asked my advisor, as I always do, okay, Google, how to become a marvelous leader being an introvert? Among tons of information, I found a book called Introverted Leader by Jennifer Conwaiter. I read it, and the book was mentioning Toastmasters International as a great place to develop your public speaking skills, which are necessary if you want to be a leader. So a couple of weeks after I read the book, I joined the meeting of the club as a guest. And a little bit later, I joined it as a member. And right now, I just finished giving my first icebreaker speech. Thank you very much for listening to me. And I hope with your help and my hard work, I will become a marvelous speaker and a leader. Thank you. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Valeria. That was a marvelous premiere of your speech in our club. That's what I always love about icebreakers, is that how they set up for the future speaking roles, as we found out so much about you, and at the same time we didn't go into detail. So we're all looking forward to find out about what your job as a kind of pirate was like, and your experience as a quality assurance engineer, and so on and so forth. Thank you and welcome to our club. Next, we've got Toastmaster Michael Wader. He is American, but in the last 53 years, he has lived more than in 9 countries and Russia than he has lived in the United States. He is a professional speaker, he is author of 6 books, and one quick fact, he likes to scribble notes on napkins. During the last 7 months, Michael has given 29 Toastmaster speeches in 8 different countries. He helped to found 2 new clubs on 2 different continents. He has written 1.5 books on leadership, and he has lost 2 coffee cups and 1 slipper. I hope he found the missing slipper. But for now, with a speech called 5 Steps to Complete Level 1, please welcome Michael Wader.
Good afternoon, everyone. Glad to see you can make it. I'm here to dispel some questions and some curiosity that people have about Toastmasters Level 1. So we'll get right with it. There are 11 pathways, as you know, within Toastmasters. And each of those has 5 levels of competency: public speaking, interpersonal communications, strategic leadership, management, and confidence. And as you go through all 11 of these, you can go through any one of them you wish, or multiple. You will see that they have different competencies. The idea was that they should all have 1 and 5. They should all teach you about public speaking, and then they all should give you confidence. And it's up to you to choose from there which ones you want to go forward with. If we do that, we could say that sometimes if you pick one, like an example, I'm in 3 different pathways right now, and one of them is engaging humor. So I'll talk about that one just briefly as my example as I go through level 1 with you. This is where people start to get confused. Be very, very careful about this. You can find out that in level 1, there are 5 speeches, not 3. In level 2, there's number 6 and 7. Level 3, you're going to go through 8, 9, and 10. Level 4, you're going to go through 11 and 12. And in level 5, you can go through 13, 14, 15, and maybe 16. If in fact you're going to go through and do high performance leadership, you're going to get 2 speeches in level 5, so you'll have 16. So your journey that we're looking at is going to be somewhere through 15 or 16 speeches. Are all of you aware of that? To get through a pathway, you have 15 or 16 speeches to go through. Many folks, when they start out, do not understand that. The other group of people, they hear that and they say, oh my goodness, how am I ever going to get through 15 speeches? It's going to be so very, very difficult. As most of you know, I used to be a Toastmaster back in the late 80s when I was in Okinawa, Japan, and in England, both. And Toastmasters was quite a bit different. I rejoined this year. And when I rejoined this past spring, I joined the Saint Petersburg Club. I started over at 0 with no background, and I started on my path. I can assure you, getting over these first 5 is going to be harder than it is for you to complete level 2, 3, and 4. 2, 3, and 4 are relatively easy compared to getting through level 1. So you make it through the first 5, you're going to find out it gets a whole lot easier. It's not so rough. It's not so difficult once you move on. But getting through level 1, a lot of people get discouraged. We have members in this club and clubs all over the world who start in level 1 and have started a long time ago, a year or more, and are still only at their speech number 2 or 3 in level 1. They haven't moved very far. We have some members who are in level 2, some members who are in level 3. I'm in level 5. I started giving speeches in this club in July, and I'm at level 5. So I've been moving a little bit more quickly than some others. But that takes time. It takes initiative. It takes confidence, all those things to move forward. But what I want to clear up today is the misconception about level 1. Many, many people do not understand level 1. When we look at level 1, here again, if you look under the little column on your left, it says Icebreaker, Evaluation and Feedback, Researching and Presenting. People look at this and they say, oh, there's 3 projects in level 1. Okay, I can do 3 projects. Be careful. It's not just 3 projects. It looks like this. It looks just like I'm going to do 3 things and be done and move over to level 2. Be careful. This is where the problem starts to occur. When you go into Toastmaster International and you go to your base camp and you start examining what you're going to have to do, you will find this chart. Now, this chart is the guide for level 1, as it says at the top. It says you got an icebreaker, evaluation, feedback, researching, and presenting. Well, guess what? That's 3 projects, but it's not, I repeat, not 3 speeches. In fact, it is 5 speeches. And I will explain those in a little bit more detail so that you can understand what they are. But there are 5 speeches in level 1. 1 speech in the first project, 3 in the second project, and 1 in the third project. We'll walk through those. Now, this is where we're going to spend a little bit of time so that we can help you. The first one is your icebreaker. You just heard today Valeria give her icebreaker. You have all gone through that. I don't think we have anybody in the club who's not already done an icebreaker, including our newest member, Alan. I think we might have Marina who has signed up. I'm not sure if she's done her icebreaker, but she was signed up as a member. You're going to talk about yourself. When I give my evaluation about Valeria a little bit later, you will find out that she did just that. She introduced herself. The speech outline worksheet should be all about you. And then maybe the reasons why did you join Toastmasters? She went through these and gave that. Many folks get lost. It becomes more difficult when you're doing your second pathway. You have to do your icebreaker again for each pathway. So now you start getting very complicated. It is best when you're doing your icebreaker to keep it as simple as possible. Here's who I am. Here's a little bit about my background, a little bit about my personality. Here's what I have accomplished, and here's what I want to accomplish. If you do those things, you will do well in your icebreaker. It will not be difficult for you if you do that. This is just one speech. This is not 2 or 3, it's 1. It's where we ask you to start. Now, let's go to your second step, our second project within level 1. This is 3 different speeches. Excuse me, mistake. 3 different projects. See, even I made a mistake of what I said. This is 3 different projects. First project for part 1, you give a speech. It can be entertaining, informative, persuasive, humor, whatever you wish. You give a 5 to 7 minute speech. Then part 2, you're supposed to give the same speech over again. You can change it a little bit different. You can even change the topic if you wish, but it's not recommended because in speech number 2, you use the evaluation that you got in speech in this first speech. You use that evaluation to improve your next speech. So you give a speech, you get an evaluation, you take that evaluation and you build your second speech. This is inside project number 2. You call it evaluation and feedback. The name has 2 parts because there are 2 speeches to be given in there. Now, there is a part 3 to this, but you won't find it a lot of places. You will have to dig in the base camp in order to find this. Part 3, you have to be an evaluator and someone has to evaluate you being an evaluator. So as an example, part 3 would be, let's say Valeria gave her speech today and I was her evaluator. If this was my part 3, when I give her evaluation, somebody is in turn going to evaluate my evaluation. In Toastmasters, it's very, very important that we give you feedback and we do a good job of it. That is critical. So in order to do that, we need to make sure that people know how to give feedback and how to evaluate. So there is a step in here where they're going to evaluate the evaluator. So project number 2 has 3 parts. Being a speaker, speaking the same thing again with repeated on the, with improvement on the feedback, and then evaluation. These are 3 separate speeches. Now, project number 3 in level 1. This is where you're going to do your researching and presenting. We have done several of these. We've seen many people who've done a super good job on this, done a lot of research on a different project or different problem or different situation, and then came back and told us about it. These are some samples in there. What you're doing at work, what you've done with your family, maybe a vacation, how you plan for it, what research did you do? For me, it was writing a book. I gave an example of how I research writing a book and then how I present that as a final product. You can do any subject you want, but again, this is just one speech, not 2 or 3 speeches, just one. So when you're going through your process, you need to understand that You should have a club mentor. Somebody in the club should be your mentor helping you. Once you finish all the education topics, that's where you go in and do the tutorials in your base camp. When you finish that, you come to the end, there should be an activate, a launch, and then a mark complete, and it'll be listed as a level X. You click on that, and Randall and I were just discussing this recently, that I had gone through and I missed clicking on one. So I had to go back and click on that completion of that level. Then your VPE is going to get notification that you have completed that level. After that time, then you can go in and you can print out your own certificate if you wish to have a certificate. If you don't want a printed copy, you don't have to print it out, but it's available to you. This is what the certificate will look like. This is mine for level 1 of engaging humor. And you can print this out. They've got them already signed with the electronic signatures in them, and you can take this, put it in a frame, put it up in your office or your home if you wish, whatever you want with it, but you don't have to print it out. That is optional to you. So my question is, for all of you, as you're getting ready to go through this, please understand what the steps are. Please check with your VP of education so you know what they are, and please understand there are 5 steps in level 1. Once you complete that, you're going to find the rest of them come a lot easier until you get to level 5. Level 2, 3, and 4 are not nearly as complicated as level 1. So I wish you good luck, but I want you to know there's 5 steps in there, not 3 as it appears in most of the text. Okay, Mr. Toastmaster, back to you.
Thank you, Michael, for your educational speech. That is especially relevant since we've got a lot of newcomers this and previous months. So this is something that we all have to, well, most of us have to encounter. With that being said, I'd like to invite to the stage our timer, Rami. Rami, could you tell us how well did we do on the timing today?
Amazing. So we have first Alexander Turnov, 7 minutes and 16 seconds, 16 seconds over the time. We have Valeriya, 4 minutes and 29 seconds. It's right in time. And for Michael's speech, it's 11 minutes, 47 seconds. It's 1 minute and 47 seconds over the time limit. Thank you. Back to you.
Thank you, Rami. Now I invite all of you to vote for the best speaker of today's meeting. This is something that we do in our club to encourage members to speak and be better with each meeting. So please take a moment. The link is in the chat. And while we do that, we are going to have a 10-minute break. I think we will split our meeting into 2 parts. We'll have 2 breakout rooms and we'll just have a chat. If somebody needs to go have a break, then it's fine, but it's better to stay and have a small talk.
Does everyone understand about the chat, about the breakout rooms? You will get a message on the screen and they'll be sent to a breakout room.
Yeah, I will guide you into this, and I will push the button when we will be automatically by the system randomly thrown into a different group. That means we established this as a new agenda slot, making sure that we use the 10 minutes break for discussion, which is always difficult if we are beyond, say, 5 people. And we split it into rooms, and you will see a new window pop up. And then you will see all other members who the system will throw into your room, and then you'll gather and chit chat for 10 minutes if you wish so. At the end of the session, we will cancel the rooms and you'll automatically be guided into our main room to continue with the second part of our program. However,
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's kick off the second part of our meeting with table topic session. Let me remind you that the theme of today's meeting is love in the air. And as a table topic master, we have Walter Schwarz today, which is a match made in heaven, in my opinion. So let's all welcome Walter Schwarz with a table topic session for today.
Thank you very much, dear Mr. Toastmaster. Herewith, we knock off the second round of our 131st meeting of today. I very much hope you enjoyed the breakout sessions. And just a quick question to everyone: did everything work okay in your meetings, in your breakout sessions? Cool. Very much appreciate that. What is a table topic session? A table topic session, just to make it short and crisp, is here for you to prepare yourself and practice an open, quick speech, as such, so-called table topic. There's not a lot of thinking involved. There's not a lot of time. You will have between 1 and 2 minutes to deliver your speech. And this is, I call it a speech out of the box. There is no right or wrong. There is no over-analyzing your question. If you don't know the right answer, just deliver something, because this is a training for a situation in life where you're just not prepared to say something, but you need to, because the audience or the birthday person or the chancellor has just asked you a question, and you could not prepare for that. And this is the session to train it. So don't be afraid of it. Take it with a bit of fun and get into the questions, which I will provide happily to you. I will need to kick off the session from you that you will just either wave your hand, or, to make it more easily to see it for me, take your reaction button and raise your hand so I can pick then, thank you very much, Michael, to you who is going to be next on my agenda. There we go. I very much think there are no other questions. Everything else you will find out soon. Who's going to be the very first person to go for? Okay. I'm going to ask one question. Michael, was this already the raise for you to go, or was this just an example for me asking you?
It was an example, but I will raise my hand and go. Alexander Chernoff was the first one to wave.
Exactly. Thank you very much, dear Alexander. First question for you. Make sure you will look at the timer's screen, Rami, so that you have an orientation about how much time is left for you to be then applied and applicable for the vote, which we will take after the session. There we go. Love is in the air is the theme of today's meeting. So do you remember, dear Alexander Chernoff, what and when was your first date? Off you go.
First real date? Give me a sec. The first real date was when I was what?
Dear Alexander,
23.
do you remember your first date?
I remember. It was on the 23rd. No, I was 23 years old, and we went skiing. What else? What should I say? The skiing was cool. The weather was like today. Damn, I miss the weather. It's so rare to have the snow as good as this one. But yeah, we were skiing outside Saint Petersburg. There is a Dynamo Stadium for skiing, actually. It's not an advertisement, but you should try it. So on your day off, don't lie on your couch, as you might do like 80% of the time. I don't know you, but I can guess. So go to train station called Kavgalovo, and there is a stadium, and you can go skiing all around. I'd say that it's a pretty handy skill here in Russia, as if you leave Saint Petersburg and go to any other city in the Siberia, the ice skiing, is a skill that you should always have, especially if you go there in winter, because all the local kids know it. And since my family is from Siberia, my unskillful skiing is a disgrace to my family, because everyone knows how to ski on kind of semi-professional level for some reason. I guess it comes from the blood and from the Siberian winter, but I looked like a loser. And this girl, she was skiing so good, and I felt so many times that she thought that I broke something, and that's how we got close, because she was pretty sure that my spine is broken, because I fell down and started skiing on my back several meters down the slope, all the time making noises like I'm being tortured. So yeah, she asked me how I was doing, and that's how it started. Yeah, I guess it's kind of late, being 23 years old, to go on a first date, but it was worth it.
Thank you very much, Alex. Thank you. You see, it always works. I know that. Fantastic. Thanks for sharing. Just a quick one for everyone who's not aware of the fact. You need to at least have 30 seconds to be acknowledged for the vote. So as when Alex started and said, that's it. No, it's not, because if you're not, the goal overall is to speak. So we should not forget that. Go ahead and say what your heart wants you to say. Number two is, I see the general evaluator has raised his hand. Or should I? No, we're going to go for Michael. And then after that, we're going to go with Randal. Dear Michael, I see you are ready. Just give me a hand when you are good to go. Yeah, got that. Now, dear Michael, I'm going to pick a nice one for you, obviously. Dear Michael, please explain Valentine's Day to your child.
Oh, that's very easy because I have had 2 daughters and 4 grandchildren, so I've had 6 opportunities to explain it. You take your young child and you sit them down on the sofa next to you and you start talking to them. You point across the room, you say, do you see that angel? The one with the bow? They say, I don't see anything, Grandpa. I said, that's because you're not in love. Valentine is all about love. When you see love, you see angels flying around the sky, and they're looking for the one that you love. And when they find that one, they're going to take their bow and boom, let it go, and the arrow is going to fly and land on you. And then that's going to be your Valentine for the day. That's going to be your new love. And my children would say, but Dad or Grandpa, I don't see it. Does that mean I don't love anybody? I said, no, doesn't mean you don't love anybody. You love your mother, you love your father. We're your Valentines also, but that's not the special Valentine. There's going to be a special Valentine in your life. And when they are, someone's going to pull back that bow and let go, and it's going to land right in your heart, and you're going to fall in love forever. Mr. Table Topics Master, back to you.
Thank you very much, Michael. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. I'm sure that your grand, I don't know actually how many grandchildren you have, so I'm just making this up. They will be glad with such a nice answer. Carrying on to number 3 of today's table topics is General Evaluator Randal. Randal, give me a sign when you're ready to receive your very question.
Go ahead, man. I'm ready.
There we go. Okay. Now, this is probably something you're very, very familiar with. That's my guess. So go ahead, take a couple of seconds to think, and whenever you start, the timer will start counting. How do you deal with unwanted romantic approaches?
Oh my God, it happens so often. It's so difficult, Walter, being so attractive as a man. And of course, we know that men, as they get older and they get a little bit of this gray, they become even more attractive. We give off these pheromones, which attract, unfortunately, a lot of younger women. It's a challenge. But actually, I think the biggest challenge for me in life was in Mexico when I was a young man, and I went out to a nightclub, and I met a couple of interesting young people. I was attracted to this girl who was dancing in the middle of the nightclub. And after a couple of hours in the nightclub, I went off with her and 2 of her friends to a house party with a pool. And as I was sitting in my sort of buff state, Michael knows what buff is, sort of like Chernoff, really well-built state. It was hot. It was Mexico. I wasn't wearing so much. And the guy who came with the girl, he sat down beside me and he got a little bit closer, and he touched my leg. And I thought, this wasn't really what I was expecting, because I was more attracted to the blonde girl who was off in the corner. So how did I deal with that? Well, in a nice subtle way, I said that I had to go back to my ship. Time was up, and better say it's a night. So that's how I dealt with unwanted approach. Nicely, tactfully. Over to you, Mr. Table Topic Master.
Thank you very much, Randal. Thank you very, very much for sharing and such valuable insights on how to deal with those difficult topics we come across with throughout life. Next one is, I see Ellen. Is that correct? Yes. Yes. Ellen, is it a yes? Yes, perfect. All right. You're going to have this nice one. Now, what is the meaning of Valentine's Day in your very country? Please choose one and explain.
Wow. Mr. Topic Master, thank you. I was born in West Africa, Cameroon, and so I identify as someone from Cameroon. But then, most of my life, I lived in Canada. So I also identify as someone from Canada. And guess what? I also got married in Russia in 2011. But then I got divorced. So I also identify as someone from Russia. And actually, I was able to get the citizenship. It still feels weird because I have this new passport. And actually, I went to vote last time for the presidential election. And Valentine understanding in those three countries is quite different. It's kind of like Christmas with snow and without the snow. But really for me, it's more like what my parents told me when I was a little boy, that we are created as a rainbow, you know, that God created us as a rainbow. We have red people, yellow people, black people, blue people, you know, and so forth. And so that symbiosis, that union kind of makes all humanity the same. So when I think about Valentine and love and everything, I think that despite those differences, despite those different identities I have, at the end of the day, Valentine is Valentine, and it's kind of the same feeling of love and maybe appreciation for somebody you care for. And that's really amazing. And that's what I consider to be Valentine. Back to you, Topic Master.
Oh, that is very lovely and marvelous, I have to say here. Thank you very much, Ellen, for your contribution. Now, I can't see any other hands, but I can't stop and won't stop here. So do we have other new members or guests who want to have the next question? It's a rhetorical question. Only yeses are accepted.
Absolutely, Rami wants to go. Oh, Marina.
There we go. I saw Marina first. Yes. And then I think I'm going to go Rami. Marina, give me a sign. You're ready to go? Cool. Okay. Hold on. Valeria wants to come back in. There we go. Dear Marina, how should a single person celebrate Valentine's Day?
Thanks, Walter. It's a great question because I'm a single person and I'm always thinking about my plans on Valentine's Day. So in my opinion, the single person should be thinking about himself and how he can give as much love as he can to himself. So I think that's just another opportunity to kind of remind yourself that you are, you know, how you can treasure yourself, how you can spoil yourself a little bit on that day, and maybe just acknowledge that you can't just give love to your family and to your friends, but also you have to think about the ways that you can show love to yourself, to your body, to your maybe some kind of find some time for yourself. So for me, I think on the Valentine's Day, I'm gonna do things I like, and I'm gonna go to the gym. I'm gonna read book, and I'm probably gonna meet with the friends to have a drink or two, and that's gonna be a wonderful Sunday for a Valentine's Day. Back to you, Table Topic Master.
Thank you very much, Marina. Thank you very much. A lot of people agree with you. And being single or not single, I think self-treatment is just always the right thing to do. Who we've got more on the agenda? Did I see Furukawa, Rieko? Did you guys raise your hand? Did I see that? I was not always paying attention. Furukawa, Rieko?
No, thanks. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, he raised his hand.
Furukawa, you ready to go?
Yes, maybe.
Yeah. Okay. There we go. I have one for you. I think that one is nice. Okay, I need to say something just to keep the pressure a bit low here, which is in the room. Dear Furukawa, the question you have is Valentine's Day the most romantic day of the year? What do you think? Let us know.
In the year, or in the world?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. This is my, thank you for a very marvelous question to me. Madame, Monsieur, bonjour et bienvenue à bord. This is the, love in the air at Air France. Yeah, that was very nice. So that was the very moment to meet people on the fuselage airplane, the cabin. That was the place to meet your counterpart, I myself. In this COVID-19 crisis, we have a scarce chance to meet people on the board. So I really suggest you to take a plane travel to Japan, especially to see our Olympic Games next summer. Thank you. Back to you.
Thank you very much, our guest from Japan, Furukawa. I hope I pronounced that correctly. I totally agree that one of the best days actually to have is spend some time on the Air France and listen to people speak French, because there's a saying, doesn't matter whatever you say in France, in French, it just sounds so marvelously great. So I totally agree with you here. Oh yeah, that was a thing. Good, let's go ahead with last but not least. I think I have forgotten Rami throughout the session. I think, is that correct, Rami? You were raising your hand?
Yeah, but someone will have to time me.
Someone will have to time you.
I'll do it, no problem.
I'll do it is Alex, I think.
Yeah.
Good. Can I have an okay from Alex when you're ready to time? And then I need an go from Rami when you're ready to go.
Born to be ready, Walter.
Perfect. Rami, how about yourself?
I'm always ready, man.
Always ready, man. That's what we need. Okay, there we go. I think you'll be good for this one. What is your best way for the very night out of your partner? If you don't have one, then imagine to make it up. Go ahead.
Yes, I'm always ready. This is the best thing ever. Actually, I prepare for this moment all my life. I always have this perfect moment. I have it actually planned. I wanted to be on a boat. For some reason, I find boats very romantic. That's how my father and my mother met. And also, actually, Saint Petersburg is a perfect place. I also have some swimming in my plans. So I think that the girl has to be a little of a risk taker, and she have to dip in this freezing cold water with me, you know, and freeze. I'm actually also half a dancer, so I can also dance with the girl and warm her up in the situation. There will be some champagne involved. So I've gotten the air control covered, and everything is perfect. I mean, you've got to lose something and it's when you're getting sick for 3 days after the date, this means that you have actually accomplished something in your life and you can actually remember something. I think that's about it. And thank you for listening to my dream date. Back to you.
Perfect. Thank you very much, dear Rami, for sharing this with us. I'm very much glad to be invited by you for a nice swim out, wherever this might be. Very, very nice. I need to ask quickly the timer if we have time for another go or if we need to cut it off here.
You're asking me, right? So you're scheduled for 15 minutes. Now it's 20 minutes and 29 seconds.
So I'm good to go, right?
Your maximum is 15.
Oh, okay, so
20 minutes.
All right, so we're done with it. Oh, no, I didn't get it. Yeah, we're done. Yes, stop. I stop here. Okay. I have still some nice questions, but I'm going to ask them myself. I would like to have a warm welcome and thank you. And you've done a good job for this session. I know sometimes they can be intimate, but it's always very important to come up with something to fill the 1.5 answer time you've been questioned to. Thank you very much for the participation. I'm handing over to the Toastmaster Alexander. Thank you.
Thank you, Walter. I'd like to ask Rami once again whether all the speakers did well on the timing. Well, I'll use this opportunity to mention that your own timing was perfect, 1 minute and 20 seconds.
Yes, everyone's time is perfect, and everyone fits. Is this good, or you want me to discuss something more?
That's good, Rami. We can discuss it afterwards.
Okay.
For now, we will make another vote for the best table topic speaker. The link will appear just in a minute, but for now we can continue with the evaluation section. So please, I would like to invite Mr. Randal Eastman.
Well, thank you very much, Toastmaster Alexander. It's my pleasure to be back with my microphone again. We will start by having the listening to the evaluations that are most important for us today. And I was thinking about which order to do them because we had that little ring at the ring of the doorbell. So I think we'll start first with Alan, who will give his evaluation of speaker number 2, Alexander. Alan, are you ready? Over to you, Alan Akamba, who is wearing the Canada shirt, which I respect.
Yes, it's a marvelous hoodie. Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. Alexander, the purpose of your speech was to discuss your personal leadership style or leadership styles in general. I will talk about what you did well, where you should work on, and how you can challenge yourself. First of all, you began by outlining what you consider the qualities of a good leader. You talked about Machiavelli, Napoleon as examples. You talked about being harsh, being violent. It was quite shocking to me, but that was a clear overview of how you view leadership. You also described yourself as a transactional leader and sometimes authoritative. So it was very clear where you position yourself. Now, you want to work on things like not spending too much time highlighting your weaknesses. For example, you said, oh, I wrote too much. Oh, sorry about the time. You want to talk about what you're good at. You want to focus on what is good. Also, you had some phrases, some grammar problems there. I think it's vocabulary more. You said history is done by, in English you say history is made. You also read us a very long list, I think 10 or 11 characteristics of a good leader, and that forced you to read you don't want to do that because that breaks the eye contact. And basically, every time you read a document, you can as well email it to people. So you don't want to do that because that forces you to read. Also, keep track of time. Here's my timer here. Last time you had a very, very long speech. This time was a little shorter, but you still went out of time. Now, what can you do to improve all this? I think you should choose maybe one personal story because it's a story, you don't have to read it. It's just your life. And then that story will cover all the points you need to hit for your speech. Also, stand up if you can next time. And yes, keep track of time. You can use a stopwatch like this one if you cannot see the timekeeper on your screen. Having said that, continue and congratulations. Back to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Alan. Now, Michael Vader, could you please give an evaluation for Valeriya Gagarina's speech today?
Certainly, Mr. General Evaluator. The purpose of her speech was to introduce herself to us, to let the club learn about her basic structure for public speaking and watch her develop. This is the member's first speech. So today it did not appear like it was Valeriya's first speech. It looked like it was a speech that she may have given after several other speeches. I wrote to her during the week and she said she was going to practice. I don't know if she did or not, but it appears she did because I thought she did a very good job. What I enjoyed the most and what I thought was marvelous was the fact that you actually talked about things that you wanted to be: an actress, a pilot, a pirate, an engineer, a teacher. You talked about those things and then you recapped your past experience as to how you acted as a child and you were a pirate as a photographer and you're a QA engineer and teaching German. You first told us what you thought about doing in life. Then you told us what you did in life. This is a very good way to start your public speaking career. You want to form things that are either chronologically in order or in some sort of sequence where somebody can say cause and effect. You wanted to be an actress, you were. You wanted to be a teacher, you were. So it's a good way to follow when you're getting started. So you had good structure. I thought that your vocabulary was good. You used a lot of different words and different phrases, and you were very articulate. By that, I mean your English was good enough for us to understand clearly without hearing any heavy accent or any derogatory words being used. By derogatory, I mean not correctly used. And you did a good job with that. I would point out to you, though, I do have a couple areas where you might just try to think about improving, not only as a speaker, but when you do it online, on Zoom or any electronics media. When you were speaking, the top half of your head was cut off. So be careful. You do want to make sure that you are able to see the top of your head. And I recommend that people put their hand on their head before they start speaking. And if you can see your hand, you're okay. But if you're too close, it cuts off. It detracts from the professional appearance. You look good today, you look professional, but that could have been a little bit better. Also, I think that you will, as you mature, you will find out about movement, gestures, voice variations, different ways to raise your voice, lower your voice, speak faster, speak slower, maybe a little hand gesture. These things will be developed, I'm sure, as you perform. I think you're on the right road. I think you've made some very positive steps going forward. And I think with more practice, you're going to become a marvelous Toastmaster. Back to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Michael. Rami, looking at you, I believe both of our speakers are within, both of our evaluators are within their allotted time, correct?
Yes.
Perfect. And so, Alexander, we can go ahead and have a vote for the best evaluator, please.
Yes, the link is
and just
in
to
the
clarify,
chat.
Yes. Okay, good. Now, we're going to ask, I think, Rami, is there anything you need to add as the timer today for our meeting?
So far, so good.
I would like to ask you, how long was our break? I'm not
Our
sure.
break was around 15 minutes.
1-5?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Percentage-wise, that's kind of steep. But it was a good break. It was a good break in the breakout rooms, and we're learning how to use that as a function. But we should try our best to keep within our allotted time. So, without after the timing, what we need to look at next is our use of language today. And so, could our grammarian, Walter Schwarz, could you please give us a report on how we did today in our use of the language?
Yes, sure. Thank you very much, Mr. General Evaluator. The Grammarian is very happy for today, announcing that the marvelous word of the day was used 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times, and probably much more. What I haven't encountered it. Randy was the number one. Rami said it once. Alex Kim once. Furukawa once. Ellen once. And Michael once. But the very Valeria said it 3 times. Congratulations. Due to my theory, I always like to rephrase, gray, my dear friend, is all the theory, but practical terms, so once implemented, is just the best way to learn and approach things. And that's what you just did. Fantastic. Coming back to what can be improved, I have not a lot of things to say, but one thing is just very subjective. I learn it from other people who correct me by using a lot of probably not lavish words, but easygoing words. I think I've heard today some people say, yes, you know, you could, you know, and this is something like probably from the US or Anglo-American word, gonna to. There are probably some meetings, minutes, sessions, birthday parties, official places where I would not use such phrase, so just would focus on leaving and skipping this out in brackets. Apart from that, what was very good, some phrases I very much liked, was it's a disgrace to the people, the union, and so forth. I think Alexander Chernov mentioned that. Michael, in terms of using the word thank you or being thankful, he used it. I was glad to see you, or I was glad for something have to happen. Apart from that, I love using metaphors because our brain works the pictures we create with words. And one of those was Rami's comment on how he was half a dancer. And I just couldn't forget it. It's like, well, yeah, well, and by the time thinking about it, I saw the half dancer in front of my head because it's so unusual, but the metaphor is just doing all the work to be in mind of the audience. That should be it from me. Thank you very much. Over to you, dear Toastmaster.
Thank you, Walter. As the general evaluator, I would now like to ask our special guest from Japan, Rieko, who, if you could please give us a report on our use of ums and ahs.
Okay, I did not find many unnecessary words, just a few. Toastmaster Marina 5 times, and Toastmaster previous speaker Toastmaster Alexander once, and Toastmaster Furukawa once. That's all. Thank you.
Wow, impressive today. Alexander Chernov loved to count us when we were up at the 180 ums and ahs, so we're getting better. Just so everyone is aware, Rieko is actually a DTM, and for our for our newer Toastmasters, there is a designation, a competent Toastmaster, and a designation distinguished Toastmaster, which after much effort, you can obtain. And Rieko is a DTM, so we have to be very, very thankful that she's with us today. Now, let us move on to our quiz master. Marina, are you ready?
I'm ready. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
Everybody, please unmute yourself and get your chat ready. Open up your chat, please. And over to you, Marina.
Why everyone needs to unmute themselves?
No, I made a mistake there. They need to unchat. They need to get their chat ready. I'm going to make a note.
Just open up the chat, and I'll be asking you questions, and just try to get the answer as quick as possible in the chat. So first question for today would be, where did Valeriya work as a pirate? as a pirate? Where did Valeriya worked as a pirate? Caribbean. Good job, Alexander Kim. On a cruise liner. Sorry, Walter, I didn't see that. Okay. What was the name of Michael's Walder speech today? Five steps, education levels. It was actually 5 steps to complete to level 1.
Just a quick one, because I'm doing the mistake as well. Make sure that you send the chat to all and not only to a certain person. Sometimes that happens. Just make sure that it's to all, and then Marina will see it. Okay, Marina, back to you. Sorry.
Okay. In Alexander Chernov's speech, what was his leadership style, in his opinion? To be loved or to be feared? To be harsh. Feared. Good job, Kim. Mr. Kim. Okay, next question. Who called today our Mr. President? I'm sorry, I made it wrong. I just spoiled my question. I guess who was called today as our own Berliner? Mr. President, that's good. Walter, okay. Next question, who put a thought in Valeria's mind that she was cursed? Introvert people. Almost there. Neighbor, good job.
Yeah, neighbor.
In Randal's speech, I guess it was a question to table's topic. Where was the most difficult romantic situation? What country was it? Mexico, good job. And where was Alan born? Cameroon, good job. Our guest, Furukawa, mentioned today that his best moment of the year was where? Air France. Good job, Walter. What skill, according to Rami, his date should possess in order to make it perfect date? Swimming, good job, Valeria. And Randal. Next one, and do we still have time? I just have too many questions, I'm sorry. Okay, maybe two more and we'll be done with this. What, in opinion of Alexander Kim, is the best YouTube tutorials? That was a hard one. Okay, I guess what quality of the best YouTube tutorial he likes?
Maybe it was a different meeting.
Okay, it was he mentioned that his YouTube tutorials should be straightforward like Alexander Chernov's speech. So he just liked it that way. And then I think that's going to be the last one, but the not bad one. What is the Valeria's biggest fear?
Spiders.
Speaking and spiders, both. That's all. Very good job, guys. I see that you've been listening to all the speakers today, and
Well
back
done.
to
Well
the
done, Marina.
Toastmaster.
Well done, Marina. Well done. Well done. I hope everybody can hear me. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, as the general evaluator, now I would like to give you my overall report on the meeting. Is everybody ready? Thumbs up if you're ready. Michael's not ready. That motivates me to go. I'm ready to go. Okay, first of all, little things, timing. We were 10 minutes late in starting our meeting. Why were we 10 minutes late? Well, perhaps because people trickled in after 2 o'clock. So our meeting starts at 2. It should actually, that means it should begin at 2. So it behooves us, it is something we should do. We should all try to come, let's say 10 minutes early so that we can get ourselves set up, check our equipment's working and make sure that we're on the meeting and all of our key roles are, the people fulfilling our key roles are with us. And then the Toastmaster and the president and the sergeant at arms can feel confident that we're good to go. So timing is important. And then we had a second issue with timing with our break, which we talked about a few minutes ago. It was 15 minutes long, not 10. That's partially because we're getting used to the process of using these breakout rooms. And I don't think anyone suffered as a result, but it does have an impact on our overall agenda. I think, Walter, something we should do at the beginning of the meeting, especially when we have a small crowd of visitors, is introduce them. So we had a chance to talk to both of our visitors from Japan today before the meeting started, but it would be nice if we could introduce them formally at the beginning of our meeting. I thought the Toastmaster of the day did an impressive job, as he always does, especially with transitions. So Alexander is a master of transitioning from one speaker to another. So he's listening to what the speaker said, and then he's making a nice comment to smooth the handover to the next topic. And or he's preparing in advance, he knows something about the speaker, so he can say something to introduce them. I think he said that Walter was a gift from God. Is that right today? I was kind of shocked by that statement.
Match made in heaven, but
oh, match made in heaven.
Well.
Match made in heaven. So that was good. Okay. I thought that he also, I have to say, he has some interesting phrases. He said, with that being said, which is a beautiful segue, except that he used it several times. So you overkilled it today. It's a fantastic phrase to be able to say. Moving on to the main course, that was a beautiful phrase that you used. You took that, I don't know whether you dreamed that up yourself or you listened to Michael's presentation back in November when he dressed up in his tuxedo. That was a very, very nice metaphor to use. And you said Scandinavian savant, I think, to describe Alexander. Was that correct? Did I hear that correctly? Because that was profound. That was profound. Marvelous, truly marvelous. Walter, as our table topic master, you looked down a lot during the whole session when people were speaking. So don't do that. I know you love to look people straight in the eyes. So it was very, very visible on Zoom that you were not looking at all of us when we were speaking. So please do that. And something I noticed that we often, a lot of us do it, or we do it frequently. We apologize for something, or we say that I wasn't prepared, or I wasn't paying attention. I don't know whether somebody did something or not. We have to remove those negative bits from our speaking because the audience doesn't know. And if we introduce that doubt, that negativity to them, then they start to think about something negative. And if we don't say it, they don't know. My time's up. So thanks very much. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster of the Day, Alexander.
Thank you, Randall. I still think we could hear the rest of your report in our Telegram chat, as it always concise and pretty much helpful to our club. But now, right now, Remy is fighting someone. He's trying to shoot a fly in front of him. Right now, we would like to announce the best speakers of today's meeting. And oops, something that should help me with that is my favorite presentation. So as the best evaluator of today's meeting is Michael Wader. Congratulations, Michael. Michael Wader was a substitution for our another evaluator. So props to you, Michael, for helping us once again. Next, we've got our best table topic speaker, which is Michael Wader once again. Perfect example of how to explain a Valentine's Day to a child. Finally, the most intriguing award, I would say, the best speaker goes to Valeria Gagarina for Icebreaker, and she nailed it today. So that's it, guys, for today. I'm gonna send you all your awards later after the meeting. Right now, I'd like to once again thank all of you for this wonderful meeting. And I'm gonna once again pass the word to our president, Walter Schwarz.
Thank you very much, dear Mr. Toastmaster. I think everyone could raise a hand with a bigger round of applause. First of all, to the winners of today, Michael and Valeria. Well done, you. It is very well deserved. And as well for our Toastmaster who guided us so magnificently through this session of today. Before I am going to let you go, dear members, dear Toastmasters, dear fellows and friends, a quick note on what is going to happen. I would briefly finish off this section, and then if the guests have 2 minutes, then I would ask you if you could give us a feedback about our session and how it is maybe different or from what the sessions you are having. That is always interesting for us as well. I am going to close this meeting officially right now with a small little story, what Valentine's Day could be used for. We have had in the doing of Valentine's Day, on the upcoming of Valentine's Day, I don't know if everyone knows, it is a business model which was created to uplift actually the sales of flowers, and then people came up through making sure that the season, the low season of selling flowers can be more enriched. And it's not a very romantic idea to describe the Valentine's Day of today, but that's the truth. However, a good news when I think about Valentine's Day, what to do is no matter if you're a partner or single, back in the day when I was doing my A-levels at school, we always had the organization of a person with so-called secret rose. So one person could just take a name and give a secret rose to someone else who would never find out who was giving it to it. And the excitement level, me thinking about that, which was throughout the day about the school to happen when these roses were just given out, was so extraordinary that I'm thinking to myself, was no matter if someone was single or a partner or divorced or married, just giving someone something without expecting something in return is a very nice thing to have this day enriched by whoever you think should expect a little more gift from you. On that note, I would love to thank you everyone for the contribution and hand over now to maybe Rieko. Maybe we can start with you as our guest to have 2 minutes, as what you've discovered is a little bit different from what you were expected in your club. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for having me. I really enjoyed today's meeting, and I found several different things from my club, such as quiz master maybe, and I also found that AMA sheet. I find it very useful. I've never had such a sheet for AMA counters, so I'd like to use that in my club too. And of course, the order of session is also different from our club. So it was really interesting and wonderful and marvelous. I really enjoyed. Thank you very much for having me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rieko. Thank you very much. We highly appreciate it. Furukawa, do you have something for us?
Спасибо.
Не за что.
Я только слушал. Скажите, потому что если нет сил гореть и разливать свет, то хоть не даст его. Спасибо.
Замечательно. Спасибо большое, Фурукава. That was German, I guess. As a joke. Извини. Спасибо большое. Замечательно, замечательно. Rami, thank you very much for those lovely flowers to everyone, making sure we're all warmed up for tomorrow's day. Apart from that, I would like to say to our guests, if you don't have anything to say, to keep us in contact. If you want to share or deliver your emails, please do it in the chat. And if there's nothing else I can do for you, I would then go on and ask our crowd, our members, to give me your favorite roles for the next very session to make sure that you're getting on track with your next speeches. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think we can cut off in here just not to waste your time and make it an official ending once again. I'm going to be for 5 minutes hanging around here with the crowd, and I think you can too if you wish. If not, you have a wonderful weekend and a very lovely, marvelous Valentine's Day with you and your beloved ones. All the best for you, and see you in 2 weeks.
Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you.